Hey friends, today we are going to read a story called The Story of Snow, The Science of Winter's Wonder by Mark Casino with John Nelson, PhD. Our story starts on a winter day, high up in the sky, in a cloud that is very, very cold. This is the story of snow. If you look at the bottom of page 5, you can read, "Clouds are mostly made of air, which we can't see. Then there is water vapor, water in the form of a gas, which we also can't see. We do see billions of tiny droplets of liquid water and ice crystals that float in the cloud. They reflect light, making the cloud visible. Snow begins with a speck. Clouds are mostly made of air and water, but there are also bits of other things, like tiny particles of dirt, ash, and salt. Even living bacteria can float in the wind and end up in a cloud. A snow crystal needs one of these specks to start growing. These specks are all much smaller than the eye can see, but if you could see them, let's take a look. Ash or soot from a volcano or fire, grain of pollen from a flower, salt left over from ocean water that evaporates, particle of soil, bacteria from plant leaves. The speck becomes the center of a snow crystal. When a speck gets cold enough, water vapor will stick to it. If you had a microscope, you could see such small things. Here is what you would see. Water vapor sticks to the cold speck, making the speck wet. More water vapor sticks to the wet speck, forming a water droplet. The droplet freezes into a ball of ice. More water vapor sticks to the ball of ice, and it grows into a hexagon-shaped ice crystal. Water vapor continues to stick to the crystal. Faster growth on the corner causes 6 branches to sprout. The branches keep growing, sprouting little arms of their own, and a beautiful snow crystal is born. These photographs of real snow crystals are shown much larger than their actual size. The crystals were collected during many different snowfalls. Look, here is the actual size. This is a snow crystal blown up so big so we can see all of its detail. A snow crystal forms as it falls. As the snow crystal gets bigger and heavier, it starts to fall to Earth. It keeps growing as it falls through its cloud, taking on its own special shape. The shape depends on how wet the cloud is and how cold it is. A snow crystal can start to grow one way, but then grow another way when it passes through a wetter or colder part of its cloud. The crystal stops growing soon after falling below the clouds. Snow crystals can be stars. One common snow crystal shape is the star. Star-shaped snow crystals usually have 6 arms reaching out from a center point. The center point is the home of the speck that started the crystal. The 6 arms look alike, but they are almost never exactly alike. Let's take a look at the caption at the top of the page. It says, "Parts of a snow crystal can break during the fall to Earth, causing the arms to look different." Star-shaped snow crystals are called dendrites, which means tree-like. They form when a cloud is full of moisture and when the temperature hovers around 5 degrees Fahrenheit or -15 degrees Celsius. Why do you think snow crystals are called dendrites? Yes, I agree, because the word dendrite means tree-like. And if you look at a snow crystal, you can see that it almost looks like tiny Christmas trees. This is the simplest kind of plate crystal, a hexagon. Plates form when there's not enough moisture in the cloud for stars to form, and when the temperature conditions are a few degrees warmer or colder than the temperature range that stars require. Snow crystals can be plates. Plate crystals are thin like star crystals, but they don't have arms. The simplest kind of plate is a hexagon with 6 straight sides. More complicated plates have points where arms almost grew. Simple plate crystals are much smaller than stars. They can be as wide as 1 millimeter, but they're usually a lot smaller. The points on this plate crystal are the beginnings of arms that were just starting to develop when the crystal fell out of its cloud and stopped growing. And look, here is the actual size of a simple plate crystal. Snow crystals can also be columns. Column-shaped snow crystals are shaped like pencils. They're not flat like stars and plates. Columns can form high in the clouds and at very cold temperatures. They are very tiny, and when they fall, they make for very slippery snow. Here we see it says a column has 6 sides. These are the 3 types. We have a solid column. These are the smallest type of column. Then we have a hollow column. These are longer and more common than solid columns. And then finally, we have capped columns. The caps on each end of these columns can be plate crystals or star crystals. Once again, here we see the actual size of column crystals. They're very tiny, usually no longer than half a millimeter. Capped columns like this one develop when a column crystal moves into a part of its cloud where the temperature is right for plates or stars to grow at both ends. The 2 end caps can grow to different sizes, as you can see here. If you think of a star crystal as a clock, the arms of a star crystal can point to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 o'clock. Only those times. 6 is the magic number for snow crystals. This is because of the nature of water. Water molecules, the smallest units of water, attach themselves into groups of 6, which usually leads to crystals with 6 arms or 6 sides. A perfect star or plate crystal has 6-fold symmetry. That means if you divided the crystals into 6 pie wedges, each pie wedge would have the same shape. Water molecules attach to each other in 6-sided rings, like 6 kids holding hands. When many of these hexagonal rings are joined together, a larger hexagonal crystal is formed. Snow crystals are rarely perfect. So much can happen during a snow crystal's fall to Earth, it is rare that one will turn out perfectly. If a droplet of water passes close to one arm of a snow crystal, that arm can start to grow faster. Before long, that one arm will be a lot longer than the others. A snow crystal can be a twin. A snow crystal can have 12 arms. This is a twin crystal, which happens when 2 crystals start from the original speck and form on top of each other. A snow crystal can have bumps. If there are enough water droplets near the crystal, some can strike the crystal and freeze on contact. This gives the crystal little bumps called rime. Many crystals make one snowflake. Often, snow crystals bump into each other and get stuck together. When this happens, snowflakes form. Hundreds or even thousands of snow crystals can be found in a single snowflake. Here we see 2 snow crystals stuck together. Snowflakes we see falling from the sky are usually clumps of snow crystals like these. Individual crystals, which are sometimes also called snowflakes, can fall on their own, but they are much smaller and harder to see. What is the difference between a snow crystal and a snowflake? That's right. A snow crystal is just one crystal, but snowflakes can have hundreds or even thousands of snow crystals all found together in a one single snowflake. Great job. Once a snow crystal lands, it starts to wither away. Snow crystals can't keep growing after they fall from the cloud. And when the crystal stops growing, it immediately starts to wither. Soon, the arms of the crystal break down and the crystal's shape becomes rounded. This means that if you want to see a snow crystal, you need to catch it in the air or find it very soon after it lands. When they're not in the clouds, surrounded by water vapor they need to grow, snow crystals quickly start to erode. Try catching one on your sleeve or glove and see the crystal structure at its best. Are no two snow crystals alike? Some simple plate crystals may appear exactly alike as seen through a high quality microscope. When it comes to more complicated snow crystals, though, odds are that there are no two exactly alike. But then, no two leaves, flowers, or people are exactly alike either. Snow crystals are like us. We're each different, but we have a lot in common. Why does the author compare snow crystals to humans? Exactly, because like humans, they're all different, but they have a lot in common. Thanks for reading with me today, friends, and learning all about snow crystals.